fogging up a little bit. But hey everybody, welcome back to the Beginner Shop. This channel is for beginners by a beginner. I am very new to woodworking. I've only done a handful of projects. You can actually see some of those projects over on my Instagram. I'll go ahead and leave that in the description below. So make sure you all check out our Instagram page so you can stay up to date on all the fun projects that we're doing. But on today's episode, we are going to be building some farmhouse end tables, courtesy of Matt over at 731 Woodworking. So let's build some stuff. So I'm going to be building the base out of 2x4s. The only thing that's different about what I'm going to be doing with my farmhouse end tables is he used 2x8s for the top and 2x6s for the bottom. I'm actually going to be doing and ripping down all 2x8s for the top and the bottom. I'm excited. This is my first furniture build. I've built a dog ramp. You can check that out on my Instagram. But this is my first furniture build that I've done. I'm super excited. I hope it turns out well. So why don't you join me? Alright, have all of my 2x4 pieces cut. Well, I'm doing 2 end tables, so they're a pair. I have 8 pieces that are 22.5. I have 8 pieces that are 14 inches. So now it's time to start assembling the base. So with the legs and the aprons. Let's go. So I am doing pocket hole construction. I have the K4. We are working with 2x4, so it's 1.5 inches thick. So our setting is on the 1.5 inches. Our drill bit is sent on the 1.5 inches. Each of these are going to have 2 pocket holes on the sides for the aprons. So let's get to drilling some pocket holes. Done with all our pocket holes. So now we're going to start assembling the base and go from there. So since I am very new to furniture making, I have a few tools to help me keep this as square and flush as possible. I have a bunch of different clamps that I'm going to be using. Obviously I have a speed square. I have some corner guides that I found on Amazon that I'm going to be using. Also, since I'm using pocket holes, I'm going to be using Krag 2.5 inch screws and some Type Bond 2 wood glue. So let's start putting this base together. think my first base is done. Except for those, the braces. Get some of the excess glue. Overall, it looks really good. So now, I'm just gonna make number 2. So I have my 2 bases done, except for the bottom runners for the bottom shelf. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up some more 2x4, another 14 inches, and then I'm going to bring out the table saw and rip them to 1.5 by 1.5 inches, or 2x2s, to put them along the sides here all the way around. So let's have some fun with the table saw. So also, I am brand new to this table saw, and it is a scary thing. So I know most of you beginners are wanting to get a table saw, and just be very careful. It is a very powerful machine, and things can go wrong fast. So let's cut up some of these 2x4s, get them cut the length, and then I'll rip them on the table saw. Okay, I have my table saw all set up. I just need to dial it in. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just going to take an edge off the side, the rounded side, and then cut them to length. I'll get 2x2s or 1.5 by 1.5s off of these. And then while I have the table saw out, I have some 2x8s that I'm going to use my Craig Rip cut to get down to rough size, and then gonna follow the steps of Matt over at 731 again, and we're going to joint with the table saw. I have never done this before. I've never jointed anything, but I want these tabletops to be perfect, and I'm excited. So let's get ripping. That's super thin, but that's a straight edge. Let's continue. I need one of those zero clearance things, but man, butter. This is the uncut side, this is the cut side. Ugh, that's beautiful. Now let's cut these puppies to size. These little pieces of wood are hilarious. So I got my 2x2s. I need to drill some pocket holes in them, but first Actually, yeah, I'm gonna drill some pocket holes in them, and then I'm gonna start breaking down my 2x8s. I have all my 2x2s cut and pocket holed. So now I literally just, I just opened this Craig rip cut. I'm gonna set it up, kind of dial it in, and then I'm going to kind of rip down my 2x8s. The reason why I'm not using my table saw, as you can see, I don't really have a lot of space with the table saw, so I can't rip something that big. But to joint it, I'll use the table saw. So let's try to get this thing set up and ready to use. I think I have the rip cut fixed, squared, ready to go. And the reason why I'm using the rip cut, one, is because it's a brand new toy and I want to try it, and two, I only have a 7.5 inch miter saw. So these are technically 7.5 inches wide, so they won't cut them in one go. And it's not sliding or anything, it's just a straight down miter saw. So instead of cutting one side, flipping it over, cutting another side, I figured I would just use that to get them to rough size, and then joint them, and then finish the actual size on the table saw. So let's get to sizing those 2x8s. Fun. All right, 2 more to go. The tabletops are now rough cut out, and so they're 23.5 inches. Final size is going to be 23 inches long, but it needs to be 19 inches wide. So I'm going to rip them down the size, and then we're going to do some jointing, some pocket hole jointing. So I have these all jointed up. So now all I need to do is, don't mind my mess, pocket hole these, glue them up, and let them dry. This table's almost done. I'm excited. Soon we need to put the side pieces on and then measure out the bottom, and we can start like painting. My dog Wrigley. That's exciting. This turned out, I struggled a little bit, but this turned out way better than I thought it was going to. All right, let's do some pocket holes. Okay, I have my tabletops pocket holed. Now to put some 2.5 inch pocket hole screws and some glue with some clamps and just let it dry. This is awesome. I'm very excited about this. Before I saw the railings, dust everywhere, on there, I'm actually going to go ahead and sand it all down, because I think it's going to be way easier to do it now without those on there, to give it a good sanding down to 60 grit, and then go from there. So let's sand a little bit.